record. And now I'm going to start live on Facebook. Okay, and it's going to share on my timeline. And it's preparing it now. So I don't know if you can see what I see.
I can't, but I'd love to learn.
Okay, it's saying preparing live. Okay, then I'm going to say what I'm going to put in here. Oh, I had already chosen something else. Okay, so live with Lisa Larson, Brainspotting. Okay, so then it says go live, and I'm going to go live in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, Lisa, I'm not sure if we're live yet. It's saying it's going live and it's previewing, but sometimes it says that and it's actually live. So,
so we're going to start even if it's not live.
Right. So it's saying that I'm not sure if it's actually, I think it wants a title.
So that would be Brainspotting Trauma Therapy That Works.
Right. Okay. So now it's setting up for the meeting for Facebook Live. It says Zoom to Facebook Live.
And saying meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
It does. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
We're live. Okay.
All right. Well, great. Hi, this is Carol, and I am president of ificandoityoucandoit, and I am here to introduce Lisa Larson, who is going to be teaching on brain spotting for ificandoit at the end of the month. I should know that date.
July 24th.
Thank you. July 24th. We're going to be doing from 9 to 11. And so I may or may not be in this. I don't know how that works. But I would love to introduce Lisa. So Lisa, can you introduce yourself?
Yes. So I have been called the Trauma Mama of Northern California, and I am passionate about trauma. And I found brain spotting and it just rocked my world. And I'm passionate about it because it's truly the fastest and deepest therapy I've ever found that works. And my high in therapy, if you will, is when a client says, I can't believe it. Everything was just so disturbing and I was so traumatized and I couldn't sleep and I couldn't eat and I was hypervigilant and always waiting for the shoe to drop, and I feel free and I have joy. And that's why I love brain spotting, is that I haven't ever found anything so quick in terms of being able to really move through mountains of developmental trauma, or, could be adult trauma. And my passion is just sharing it with clinicians. And, it's just that key to unlock the part of the brain that holds the trauma and really holds our clients hostage for their lives. And a lot of times, like, clients will come in and they'll say, I've been in talk therapy for 20 years. And talk therapy is incredible for recovery principles, learning life balance, self-care. But unfortunately, in the neocortex right here, that's simply not where the trauma is held.
Right.
And so, a lot of people are angry. They're like, well, I've done 12 sessions and I moved through all of my trauma. And why was I talking for 20 years when I could have come for 12 sessions and been healed? And I said, it was just simply that you were accessing the wrong part of your brain. And so the key to brain spotting is that we found by accident, and we've researched it and figured out why it works, is that you're accessing the limbic system and the brain stem. And so by accessing those areas in the brain where the trauma capsules are actually held, you actually can transform it. And, so that's, I'm just thrilled to come to your chapter because you're the marketeer and you have so many people. And so I just want to share this with as many people as possible.
Right. So, I mean, if I hear you correctly, and, there's going to be people watching that are not savvy in terms of the wording, the primal part of the brain is that you're getting to that core part that, one of my one of the people I interviewed, she called her Amy, the amygdala, like
Yes,
this
Amy.
area.
Amy's a problem.
Right, Amy's a problem. And, I've gone through trauma, and I know that, she had control of me for a period of time, make
Yes.
probably a good deal of my life.
Here's Amy right here. Okay.
Awesome. There's Amy.
So
Right.
one of the ways to think about it, we can use this brain,
Mm-hmm.
but if we put the brain together, this is our most sophisticated part of our brain. And so a lot of people, there's a disconnect between what they know logically, like they can know my mother or my father were mentally ill and it was never my fault. And yet their body will tremble when anything smells like, looks like, feels like what happened. And so the talk therapy for trauma actually activates the trauma with no release. So if you're someone who goes into flight or fight, and you're in the limbic system or the animal brain, mammalian brain, right in here. And Amy, the amygdala, has also been called the smoke alarm of the brain. So it goes and goes off inappropriately so. So, if somebody goes to a firework display and they've been in Iraq or Afghanistan, they may dive for cover and get out their weapon, which was totally appropriate there, but not appropriate at the 4th of July rodeo, And so that's an example of, the amygdala going off. And then one of the things I do love about brain spotting is that the brain stem here is the reptilian brain. So if you're in your reptilian brain, it means that at the time of trauma, that you unconsciously chose to dissociate or to sort of, we almost look at it like the trauma gets bubble wrapped in dissociative layers because it was just too much. And so that goes into a numb freeze response. And so brain spotting allows you to find reflexes where the trauma is held because it's out of the awareness for the client. So that's something I've really loved, is that people who do feel blank, empty, feel nothing, remember nothing, they can be healed. And a lot of times it's not even remembering the trauma, but it can be excavated out of the brain and the body. So, and it's a deeply relational process. So there's just tremendous attunement and presence. It's a mindfulness-based therapy. And so I love how deeply connected I feel to my clients. Both of our eyes are open, which, it's like sometimes clients will literally just look in my eyes and hang on like to an attachment figure that's healing. And so it's just, I just watch people's lives transform, and I'm not a patient person. So I love that it's fast. And really for me, in 2005, I was one of those people that was a solution-focused therapist. And I'm like, oh, all those therapists that want to go back, like, why would we want to do that? Let's just take where we are now and move forward.
Right.
Because guess what? I didn't want to deal with my trauma.
Right.
And so, that was my plan. And then in 2005, I had 2 events 3 weeks apart that just turned my life upside down. I got stung by 2 yellow jackets playing tennis.
Oh wow.
And up in the mountains, Santa Cruz Mountains, and I didn't get to the hospital in time. So I flatlined on Labor Day. And then, and I wasn't traumatized by that. But 3 weeks later, my son went into anaphylactic shock from an allergic reaction to medication, and then he flatlined. And this I was not okay with. And so I went into complete acute stress disorder, which turned into PTSD, and I couldn't eat, which I love to eat. I was anorexic. I couldn't sleep. I was texting my kids. I became OCD overnight. Texting my kids, where are you? And they were all teenagers, and they're like, oh, it's 9 o'clock and we're in our safe little town and I'm 2 miles away and you need therapy, which was really humiliating because I had 30 hours of clients.
Right.
I didn't have a trauma tool in my kit.
Right.
And so a therapist friend of mine said, well, you should go get EMDR. And I said, well, that's kind of like playing the lottery, isn't it? Like they say they can heal it in one session. And she goes, well, frankly, what do you have to lose? I mean, you're not sleeping, you're not eating.
Right.
and you have a busy practice. So sure enough, I went and got 2 sessions of EMDR and came through that. And in 2005, I immediately trained with Francine Shapiro, who's the
Yeah.
founder of EMDR
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
South San Francisco,
Yeah.
and just fell in love with it
Yeah.
and wanted to be an EMDR trainer. And on my journey to becoming an EMDR trainer, I called David Grand, who was an EMDR trainer, because he was my favorite. And I said, hey, will you teach me how to be the best EMDR trainer that I can be? And he said, well, actually, don't fly to Manhattan. Because I said, I'm going to fly to Manhattan and I'm just going to pay your fee for 2 days. And I really want to learn how to be the best EMDR clinician I can possibly be. He said, well, fly to Boulder, Colorado. And so in 2008, I went, didn't even know that it was a different kind of training. It was Brainspotting. And I didn't like the name. I don't know why. I just didn't like the
name.
Okay, well, I just thought it was very science. It didn't sound relational to me.
Oh, true.
And when I got there, I chose something that I had worked down to a 0 in disturbance with EMDR. And I thought, well, surely it's gone. And when they found a spot in my visual field, so this is really why Brainspotting works, is it finds a place in the visual field that accesses where you hold the trauma capsule.
Yeah.
And when I got on it, my body shot to a 10 and I thought it was gone. And I literally shook and, I started sweating and I'm like, what is going on here? And after that, I said to my husband, do you think I'm calmer? I had done some brain spotting and he goes, you're markedly calmer. And then we went scuba diving. And I guess I had a nervous breath because I would always come up after him scuba diving. And he's 40 pounds heavier than me, so that doesn't make any sense. And so after I had received the brain spotting, he said, I changed my mind. Like, your entire breath has changed. Because I was a nervous person and I didn't even know it.
Right.
And so then I took it into my therapy room and I didn't want to make assumptions. So I just started finding eye positions that matched the EMDR setup.
Yeah.
And client after client was just saying, your EMDR is so much better. I go, well, that wasn't actually EMDR. That was brain. So I have a profound respect for EMDR. I love EMDR. I think that, it's a tremendous modality. I mean, obviously I loved it enough. And I was shocked, honestly, to find that there was something else that actually went deeper for me. And I didn't want to make the assumption that that was true for my clients, but they all said, like, somatically, you're getting deeper into my body than what you were doing before.
Right.
And
so the body thing. Let me ask you a quick question,
sure.
because this is really relevant. You said we were discussing whether you can do this through telehealth, through the computer. And I just wanted to confirm with you in front of everybody, that's a firm yes.
Absolutely. In fact, I teach brain spotting on Zoom because you can't congregate and there's usually, good sized class. And so every single setup for brain spotting, because you can go for the trauma, you can also go for a resource or sort of the solution. I use this with athletes that want to perform better, or people who can't public speak. So you can find a brain spot for a desired feeling state or a desired performance, or you can find it to excavate out something that's been haunting you for a very long time. And so you just, really meet the client where they are. And what I love about it is it's a spiritual experience because you're watching transformation on such a profound level. And really, the client's brain is able to heal itself. And so you're holding a very loving, non-judgmental, compassionate, and accepting presence. And like, my brain spot is your eyes. Like, if you were my client on Zoom or live, my eyes never leave yours. And sometimes people who have been so traumatized developmentally by their caregivers, they will literally go off the trauma spot and they'll just hold on to my eyes like it's a lifeline. And it's so incredibly healing. And so I guess maybe I didn't like the name because I'm so relational. And so one of my first reviews years ago when I was teaching it was, the name doesn't indicate how deeply relational this is. And it's like, I literally love it. I think that all like, I just love my client as much as I possibly can because they've been traumatized. And if their mirror neurons are picking up your compassion, your non-judgment, your absolute love for them, then their brain sort of goes, okay, you can do this in this presence, you know?
That's where the healing happens. I do have a EMDR story, which was that in 15 minutes, I was able to get over my fear of singing on stage, which I'd never sing on stage. And now I sing in front of 3,200 chairs. And it took 15 minutes. But at the time, you know, who would have guessed? And if Brainspotting is going to be able to get to some areas the EMDR couldn't get to, which I'm still working on a few areas. I mean, I believe that we all have a tool chest, you know, a bag of resources.
Yes.
And based on the client in the moment, I pick a different kind of intervention and or idea based on that second. So I always want as many tools in my box as possible. So and one of my dear friends, Namrata, who does TIP for therapists in private practice, she just said she just had her first Brainspotting. It was like awesome. And I'm like, okay, I am so jealous because I'm always wanting to be like the guinea pig. And I don't mind, look, if I disassociate in front of you, get over it, okay? Because I don't care.
And that's the thing is that if you dissociate, like Brainspotting can deal with that. So it's totally fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
So are you going to be my volunteer?
I am more than willing to do this. I would love to do this.
I know. I would love to work on you too.
Not only am I willing to put myself out there and look however I need to look, but healing is possible, guys, and that is what it's about. And so if we can trust that healing is possible, then we as therapists, I actually specialize in working with therapists and helping fill people and, you know, all of that, so I can make a bigger splash in the world and they can go out and help others. So as much as possible, we as therapists, okay, I'm going to say something really radical, can be the most screwed up people in the world. However, if we do our work, we don't have to be.
Exactly.
So this is part of our work. And so I would love it.
Okay, sold. I'm sold. You're in.
Okay. All right. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this, but I will put on you all over the place. You're going to get, you know, slathered everywhere with tags, this and that. So if you can, put on your stuff. I think I made it that you could possibly download the recording, but however that works, we'll get started. And I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I can't wait either. And it's also important for people to know that this is meant to go with everything else you do in therapy. So like, I'm a couples and family systems person, so I incorporate that with my Brainspotting. Right. Some people do it with energy work. Some people do it with EFT. I mean, there's just, you know, the sky's the limit. It's meant to be integrated into all your toolkit.
Right. And I'm doing a book called The Simple Guide to Relationship Success, which is, I do couples Carol style, which, you know, is not, it's my own thing, you know, and when you have seen many couples, you realize it's the same couple over and over again because they're all dealing with similar stuff. So, you know, we do have the same heart for sure, and passion, and I'm glad we were able to pull this together at the end of Marketing Monday. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I will stop the live stream now.
Okay.
Okay, so that part is stopped, and then I'm going to stop the recording.